It's like walking and chewing gum for you, huh, Joe? Can't do both at the same time?
Nope.
All right. And then just, I think we can go to the next slide. We will have a few like little quizzes sprinkled in throughout the presentation. So if you want to use, I don't know if you're using your mobile device or your desktop, go to menti.com. If you've used any of these tools, quiz type tools, answer questions, multiple choice, most of it, it's not an actual quiz. We're not going to ask you PM project management humbug questions. But type in that code 18186126, and then you'll see questions start to pop up throughout the presentation. Okay.
Give the slide a couple more seconds so people get a chance to type it in and get to there.
Yep, and I think Dominic put the website and the code in the chat as well.
I did my impersonation of Joe and put in the chat.
Thank you. All right.
So let's do our first poll question. PMI has new strategies on change makers. Does everyone know what a change maker is? Yes, no, I think we'll talk through it.
Good. I'm hoping somebody talks about it tonight.
All right, give it another maybe minute or so. We do have 44 participants. All right. Any more answers before we move on? Okay. So I actually think someone is going to talk about change makers today. But in general, I think it's this sort of shifting trend from, you know, calling ourselves project managers to actually change influencers and change enablers. So it's kind of the theme that PMI has adopted over the last few years. This is just kind of our overall organizational announcements. We do have a governance structure that we'll look at in a minute. We have elected board positions. So for this year, our president is Todd. I have taken on in 2023 the role of secretary. Laura is our treasurer, and Jay was appointed to the board this year. So welcome, Jay. We do have an open director position on the board that we hope to fill very soon.
Oh, what the heck? Let's spill the beans. We have a new director at large. Literally just confirmed the voting earlier today. So congratulations, and he's on the call. Stephen Peterson, it will be joining the board as our second director at large. So congrats, Steve.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the new opportunity and challenge.
Awesome. And you might be wondering, some of you, why was he appointed and not elected? We can tell we had someone resign from the board midway through their term, and so we needed to appoint someone to fill out the remainder of that term, which is through the end of this calendar year. So Steve, if he chooses, can be up for re-election as part of the election cycle that'll happen this summer, late summer. So Back to you, Ramya.
Thanks, Todd. And then our operations board, which is kind of the group of people that makes everything happen. We have Joe, Ben on operations. Joe is responsible for member services. Ben is actually operations, and they'll each talk about their areas. And Dominic for outreach. So everybody say hi, take a picture. And then reporting into each of these operations board members are our VPs and directors who have individualized groups and responsibilities. So I think most of us are on LinkedIn. Please feel free to connect with us, send us a request. We have PMI Northeast Ohio is on social media. There is a group, I think, as well, a PMI Northeast Ohio group, which is reasonably active. With people post questions and things like that. So do connect with us. All right. So this is kind of the overall structure. We just talked about it. And I think each of these operations areas has a different set of responsibilities. That's what makes our chapter run. Without these areas and the VPs, as well as the actual team members that volunteer on each of these teams, we would not be able to bring any of the programming and events and activities, networking events, everything that we do is because of this volunteer-run organization. So give everyone a round of applause. Thank you to our volunteers for everything you do. That's right. Go, Andy.
Yes.
Cool. Time for our next poll question. We kind of did this pre-form in the chat, but let's see what this looks like. Please put in where you're calling from today.
Yeah, the word cloud will look so much better than the chat. Oh, wouldn't that be cool if Mentimeter was smart enough to do it like geographically position the words based on where it was on a map?
On the
That
map.
would be like
Yeah, that would
cool.
be really cool.
You're asking too much, Todd.
I know, sorry. The next version,
Wow.
well, I'm thinking ahead.
Hudson and Beechwood, Lyndhurst, Brunswick. Okay.
We have a whole 2 people from Beechwood. Yay!
Okay.
I
You
only
voted
know that because I
twice.
saw that Emily put it in the chat earlier. It's not bad. Stowe,
Huh.
Brunswick.
Yeah, Laura and who else?
Got to be more than one. It's bigger.
It's bigger, yeah.
I think
And
Laura voted
Wadsworth.
twice.
I don't see Wadsworth there.
No, I didn't get on the Mentimeter because I figured I was going to be speaking enough,
Barbara's
so I wasn't going to be able to keep up.
All right. That's pretty good. All right, and then we're gonna go into our recap from last year, and each of our ops board members will present their updates. Dominic, I thought you had to leave.
Oh, I do in a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so maybe do you want to go first or something?
Love to.
Okay.
I'm the guy at the bottom. Joe, you look like a priest.
How
The
old is
outreach-
that picture?
So outreach is kind of what it says. It's sort of external facing for the organization as far as reaching out to non-members and sort of related parties. The main goals of the outreach program, you'll see there in various columns, is membership, and we're going to work on finding out, welcoming new members, and maybe reaching out to those members that didn't renew and to keep them engaged. Academic outreach is one of our most solid programs, and a great team that does that, reaching out to colleges and some high schools. And in fact, I have an inquiry from another guidance counselor, which I have to pass along, presenting students with careers in project management and being a change maker, reaching out to them and sort of inspiring them to think about those kinds of careers early on. I think many of us sort of wandered into project management and didn't realize it was an actual industry till we sort of arrived on the scene. Community outreach is an initiative that started fairly recently, but we've already did a park cleanup last summer, followed by a picnic. The idea is that PMI has an initiative, and we follow the lead of our mothership, that we can mobilize and project manage and change make for social good. So you'll see more projects and maybe inviting some other organizations to talk to us about some of the programs they do and maybe opportunities that we as change makers can help them amplify their mission. The executive sponsorship helps keep the light on. I'd mentioned earlier, you'll see in a slide later, Apex has just committed again to be one of our chapter sponsors, which is a year-round deal. Strategic Systems has been supportive of events here and there, hosting the chapter, and in various ways that other third parties continue to support our chapter, BW, both as a host and as an educational partner in various ways. So we appreciate those sponsors and understand, like, when they reach out to you, don't be frightened. They're trying to get some information about you as a project manager, and of course, we're looking for opportunities where either you or your firm might need their services, but they are related. They support what we do, and so it's worth giving them a listen. It's worth stopping by their table and hearing what they have to say, because they're interested in us because they provide services that we as project managers and change makers can take advantage of. So don't be shy about these people that support us. Industry liaisons, if you've been wandering around our website, we have partnering organizations that we feature on our website that have programming that is sometimes similar, and sometimes the programming overlaps and is of interest to them. And some of our programming occasionally is of interest to their programming is of interest to our members. Our programming can be of interest to their members, and so we just sort of keep in touch with them and sort of keep those communications open. And then, sorry, that was professional links. Industry liaisons is the idea of developing a core of people that are in bigger companies where they have a large pool of project managers and change makers that we're not reaching, and can we use those internal marketing tools and communication tools that come with firms to extend our reach and invite others to learn the benefits of being part of our chapter. Any questions? I'm happy to answer. I'm in the chat, and as Ramya mentioned, I am on LinkedIn, and hopefully you'll see me in some other places that can get a hold of me, and happy to talk to you more about those. If you're interested in being a part of any of those, we'll definitely get you onboarded and involved. And Ramya, thank you for letting me jump the schedule a little bit. I appreciate you guys accommodating my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
This is where you say, Dominic, you're on mute the whole time.
I think it's Ben next.
All right, so good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. But yeah, I'm Benjamin Todd. I'm actually the program manager for the operations team. Got a few highlights from 2022 that we're going to talk to you about, and just kind of talk to you a little bit about what we got planned for 2023. So start to talk about the finance area. Alona continues to be our financial guru here. We were able to adopt QuickBooks in 2022, so she did a really, really good job of transitioning over from the other finance person to work in QuickBooks. We've got the 2023 budget approved by the board, and Alona's done some excellent work in making sure that our categories that's in QuickBooks now align to, I guess, some of the line items in the budget. So that's super important. We'll talk about why a little later. So we also have Bunny Hairston and Lenora Day, who's now working on on our volunteer team. And we want to share that there's some volunteer opportunities that are posted in VRMS. So you'll probably see later in this presentation a link that you can go to take a look at those volunteer opportunities and contact us if you need to. And then we have a new person that's working our elections. Her name is Carla Reeves. So she's been added to the elections team. We had a successful election in 2022. It went well. And what we want to do is just share that elections are coming up, and hopefully very soon you'll see some marketing information coming at you, and you will be interested enough to run for one of our 3 Gov Board seats. And then we have another area that's called administration. Colin McCulloch, he's been added to our team. So he worked with us to create a new mission statement, and we plan to continue to improve just our operational excellence. So with that being said, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we plan for 2023. So we, like I said, we came up with a new team mission statement. That's worked out really, really well for us. We have some additional operational goals for finance. So Lona is gonna actually prepare some new quarterly reports for us. And she's also going to work with this budget to align those reports to those categories that she created. So that's one of the reasons why that's super important. From a volunteer perspective, we're gonna create and maintain an org chart. We've already worked to train Lenora, and we're also gonna start enhancing our list of all volunteers and maintain that. So hopefully we can get that done. And then from a chapter administration, we're gonna take a look at some opportunities to streamline our signature process, and I think that's already been started, and then plan to improve the ability to store and retrieve documentation to make the chapter more efficient. And then last but not least, we're gonna work with our elections person. Carla's gonna work with our marketing team, who actually had a meeting today, and we're gonna start partnering with them to send some information out about recruiting people to run for our Gov Board. Our goal is to get 6 people this year. Hopefully we can have another great election this year. So, and we're just gonna improve our election process. And as always, if there's any, we are looking for people on our team to work with us in the budget area, the chapter elections area and administration area. So if you're interested, you can contact me or contact someone in this operations group. We'd be glad to put the grappling hooks in and get you engaged. So thanks, Ramya, and thanks everyone for your time. And turn that over to Joe, I believe.
Okay. All right, so for member services, we have 3 categories here. Professional development. Alden Wallace is our professional development partner. They've been great about hosting facilities for both our IPM Day and our Professional Development Day, November and May respectively. We have continued partnerships with both Peak Business and Velociteach for certification prep training. They will be featured on a slide later on, and links to their services, which provide discounts to our members, is a great way if you're looking for training, certification training on Agile, PMP, etc. They're great resources to go to. We continue to get suggestions on other partners, so we'll be evaluating our list of partners later this year. From a marketing perspective, so Steve Peterson, who's on the call here, is our current VP of marketing. He is moving over to the Gov Board, so we will be looking for a new VP to head up that team. The team continues to be involved to evolve the chapter newsletter. We have a weekly pulse, a monthly newsletter. So we know people still check their emails. So we have that going. We did complete our website migration back in June of last year. We went from a Joomla-based infrastructure to a new MG2. It's proprietary to our web host, but so far it's been working out very well for us. So the migration went very well. Thank you, Steve and team. And we have and want to continue to have stronger social media presence in promoting our events, our volunteers, etc. We could use some volunteers in that area. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we leverage our social media and our newsletter to get the word out. So we push information to our members and our constituents. We do want the engagement back. So feel free to post things on our social media, add us, @ us, # us, connect with us. We'd love to connect with you. So that's in marketing, and we are looking to publish a marketing survey early this year to get some feedback on some of the initiatives we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So look in your inboxes for a marketing survey soon. The third pillar here is programs. So we continue to offer multiple monthly virtual events throughout the year. We offered a virtual professional development day last May, and we did our first hybrid program meeting, International Project Management Day, on November 3rd, I believe, this past year, where we had folks on Zoom, folks in the room. That worked out very well. We had some learnings from there. We want to continue that. So Dominic talked a little bit about our March meetings. Our March 14th meeting will be in person at the Galaxy Restaurant in Wadsworth and also on Zoom. We want to provide not only geographic diversity in where we have the physical meetings, but also have that Zoom option for folks that just can't travel or don't have time to make it from one site to another. We are going to resume. It's been a challenge to get Thursday tech webinars. There's topics that we know our members can present on tools that they use. We had a strong following back in 2020 and a little bit in 2021. That's tapered off a bit. But if you are using a really cool technology or an approach at work, we'd love to have you give us a noon Thursday presentation over Zoom. And it doesn't have to necessarily be Thursday. It could be ways of working Wednesday. It doesn't have to be Thursday. So, but if you have a topic that you could present, it doesn't have to be a tool either. It could be just an approach or some words of wisdom. We'd love to have you present. And then we've continued our strategy and leadership series. We'll actually need to rename those. The Talent Triangle at PMI, change the name so it's business and it's escaping right now. There's another name for leadership, but we are continuing to have a diverse set of Talent Triangle programs in all three sides of the Talent Triangle, so folks can pick up PDUs across the board and meet their minimums for those that need it for their certifications.
Hey, Joe, there was a question that came in on the chat. Does VelociTeach or Peak Business coordinate study groups in addition to meeting the course hours for certification and requirements?
To my knowledge, they do not, especially VelociTeach. They do not do study groups. They strictly do training.
Yeah, VelociTeach is mostly online, and Peak actually does combination of online and local, right, Joe?
Yeah, yes.
So Peak might do something that way if there was enough interest.
Right. We don't have a study group program anymore in the chapter. So we've been encouraging folks to leverage our partners. All right. Any other questions in the chat for
That was
Dominic,
it, Joe.
Ben, or I? That was it? Okay, thank you.
And I think it's over to Laura for the financials.
Hello, everybody. So just wanted to give you a quick overview of last year. So we typically, from a chapter standpoint, are have a budget of between, let's say, 35 and 40,000 a year. So you can see this year, most of our income came in from membership. That is very typical for us. So most of us come from your membership fees that you pay. So we do appreciate that. And then we turn right back around and try and spend as much of that on programs for the chapter as possible. So we did have, we spent about $30,000. We do have a particular expense for the web hosting, web support. That is the one part of the chapter where we do actually pay somebody to do that support, so that we know connecting with you through the web and through our website is very important. So we do have a person that we dedicate to that. Everyone else is an unpaid volunteer, including the board. And then, for our programming, a good chunk of that is for the big events. So that's when we bring in our paid speakers for PDD, for IPM Day, et cetera. So that's where most of that comes from. And like I said, generally speaking, we try and spend as much as what we bring in on our members throughout the year. So this last year, we did have a particular surplus, but we are not a profit. We are a nonprofit. So we try and, keep that to a minimum. The idea is that we want to make sure that what you put into it, you're getting back. I will make one more plug. I know Ben already mentioned this, but we have right now a finance team of 1. That's Alona. We would like to add 2 more folks to that team, and I'll give out a secret. Alona is really fun to work with. So if you want to be part of a fun team, please look into joining the finance team. And do we have any questions? I'm not able to see the chat.
No questions yet.
Okay, great.
Time for another question. If you want to go over to the Menti site. Looks like there's a clear winner.
Mm-hmm. Make sure you share the results with Dominic.
Man, if there was just for the open text. Hate it when Todd's right.
On rare occasion.
Cool. I think we have a majority of responses. Can move on.
One quick comment I'd like to make. So Dominic is working with a volunteer to line up physical locations for us this year. And we're going to talk to our sponsors. And so if your organization can also provide a conference room with web connectivity, we'd love to talk to you. So we could post our emails in the chat here. So in order to make the hybrid happen, we need to have physical locations. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is all Todd.
All right, great. Well, hey, thanks for joining, everyone. I love to be able to talk about the chapter, and love that we have a number of people who are interested. So yeah, there's me and a little bit of my background. We can probably jump past that slide. But I want to talk, before I talk a little bit about the chapter, I do want to give a kind of an overview at the PMI global organization level. Last year, a little over a year ago, PMI came out with their PMI 4.0 strategy. And I think it's worthwhile spending a few minutes on it. I think it's really where that whole change maker concept kind of instigated. And so I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about it. So let's go ahead on to the next slide. PMI's mission is really to empower people to make ideas a reality. That's a statement they've been saying for a number of years. And then PMI 4.0 kind of expands on that and says, okay, we want to address project managers, but we also want to talk to what they're calling global change makers. And we'll give a little bit more of a definition of a change maker going forward. But the idea is that PMI is looking to be an organization that assists project managers, but recognizes the fact that project management is way, way, way bigger and broader than what most people think of and what us as project managers think of on a daily basis. All right, so next slide. Again, PMI is looking to broaden the community and looking to be positioned in a very unique way. We have a number of individuals that are project managers that possess a certain skill set, but that skill set is something that can be expanded and utilized to make a significant social impact and to really change our world. And that's what PMI is looking at. So that's why you see things coming out of PMI like the top 50 projects of the year, or those types of things. And you see a number of those initiatives are things that are making areas of the country, providing clean drinking water to places, or clean energy, or all sorts of different things. So you're seeing a real focus out of PMI on that, as well as in the whole social good area, where PMI is kind of aligned to the 17, I think it is, initiatives coming out of oh shoot, I just lost the global organization. So, but let's move on to the next slide. So PMI strategies are really broken into 3 areas: broadening the reach, deepening the impact, and nurturing lasting relationships. So at a very high level, you can see kind of the definitions there, and I'll hold here so you can take a quick read on those. But the idea is that PMI is now saying everything that we do, and when I say we, that means PMI is a global organization, and that means us as a chapter. Everything we do should align to one or more of these areas. How are we trying to empower our community and grow who we're reaching? How do we impact and better? How do we provide greater impact on the project managers and change makers that participate in our organization? And how do we develop deep relationships with our chapter members and with other organizations, like organizations that share the ideals of PMI? All right, so let's dig into each one of these a little bit more. So broadening the reach. If you look at PMI's been around for over 50 years now, and has a real deep history in what we've done in the project management, program management, and even more recently, the business analyst profession. But PMI now was looking to be more inclusive as an organization and grow the reach. They talk about a 10x strategy, meaning that PMI feels that there's a number of people across the globe that are project managers, but there's 10 times that number of people that are change makers, which is really a project manager without the official title. To some extent. So that's really what the idea is to reach out to those individuals who are outside of traditional project management background and help give them the tools that we know and love and understand so that they can make a better impact on their world. And that's really what that change maker is someone who's not a project manager by trade, but someone who is doing things and could benefit by using project management principles and techniques. A change maker can really be anyone, from a student through someone very senior in their career to someone who's retired but still volunteering or still making an impact in their community. So that's kind of the idea around broadening the reach. Let's talk about deepening the impact. So on the next slide. So PMI is, obviously been very focused on those that hold PMI certifications, in the example here of PMP, but really looking for how can we deepen the impact in the people that are already associated with project management or PMI. And is that, getting them involved in a chapter, getting them more involved as a volunteer, helping them earn additional certifications beyond the PMP. Whether it be one of the Agile certifications or wicked problem solving or some additional things that PMI offers now. But that's really what is. I'm actually very excited and glad to see this as a key tenet in PMI's go forward strategy, because it shows to me that PMI is still very, very committed to the career project manager or career agilist who wants to stay in that realm, as well as PMI's very stated goal in increasing our reach globally to take advantage of those that are change makers. So I think that this is really significant that this is called out as one of the top 3 strategic tenets for PMI. The only other thing I'd want to say here is on the PMI website, there is a tool available called Career Navigator. So I encourage you at some point to go out to the PMI.org site, search on Career Navigator. It actually does a really good job in helping you understand where you might be in your career today, where you want to be, and give you some ideas of different experiences or certifications or other things that you might want to do to help get you to where you want to be in your career. So kind of a neat tool there. I haven't played around with it recently, but did take a look at it, probably a year ago when it officially launched. But that's Career Navigator. The third strategic pillar for PMI is nurturing lasting relationships. And this really talks about relationships with individuals, but as well as relationships with organizations. As you can see from the slide here, PMI really is talking about 3 different types of individuals. One is students, so those that are pre-career that could benefit from learning early in their lives about project management and what project management or change-making principles can do for them and helping them grow. Second is young professionals or rising leaders, those that may be early in their career and looking to have opportunities and experiences that will help them quickly grow and develop and mature into stronger project managers and stronger leaders. And then third is really senior, mid-level or senior executives, those that to some extent have been there, done that, might be on the tailing side of their career, but have deep, deep knowledge and experience that they can use to help students and rising leaders. So there's a real give back type relationship there where those individuals can mentor younger or newer project managers, or those newer in their career. The other thing is you really look at those mid-level and senior executives as guiding transformational activities or organizational changes. So being very senior leaders in those types of scenarios. And then, of course, on the right, deepening relationships with organizations, whether those be, volunteer organizations or whether those be, other organizations that are just seeking for making our world a better place, which is really one of those things that PMI is really engaging with and aspiring to. Yeah, I see it in the chat there, Dominic. Thanks. That's a very good way to think of it, going with your ghost of Christmas past, future, and present analogy there again. I just hate to think that some of us that are getting a little more senior a career are being called Ghosts of Christmas Past, but I guess that's something I'll have to get over. All right, so the challenge for us then is how are we helping PMI to broaden our reach and deepen our impact and nurture lasting relationships? I think I had a slide on this, but it looks like we're jumping right into the Mentimeter. I think they say basically the same thing. It says, how are you helping? I would also say, how could you help? If you if you want to think about the question that way, but can you help PMI to broaden our reach, deepen our impact, and nurture lasting relationships? So go ahead and take a minute and throw some quick ideas out there in the Mentimeter. Yep, some real good things coming in there. Yeah, think about it in the organizations you work for or work with. What opportunities do you have to help those people that might be in the organization who you'd consider maybe a change maker, somebody who's not a project manager by title, but implements projects or initiatives or guides transformation within the organization or outside the organization. You have great opportunities there to help coach and mentor and get them materials through PMI that might help them improve in what they're doing. Yeah, really good stuff there. Excellent. Thanks for everyone who's contributing there. Love the word cloud. All right, so bringing it home now, we talked a little bit about the PMI's overall strategy, but what are we doing within Project Management Northeast Ohio, PMINEO, to support that strategy? It's important for us to align to PMI, and it's something that we're making a more conscious effort to do now, in specifically aligning to, as Dominic refers to it, the mothership, or as many of us refer to it as GHQ. General headquarters for PMI. But as such, we have actually updated our mission and updated our vision to better align to PMI. So thanks to Jay Jacob and the board for the work that's been done there over the past few months. And really want to take a couple moments right now to unveil the new mission and the new vision and new mission. So let's flip to the mission. And our mission is similar to what it was in the past, but a few key changes. We want to be recognized as the premier Northeastern Ohio organization that empowers change makers to transform ideas into reality. So we're really aligning ourselves with that whole, empowering people to make ideas and to transform ideas into reality, as well as recognizing that we as an organization, as a chapter, want to broaden who we're influencing and connecting with, and to not just project managers, but also to change makers. I do want to make it clear that PMI is still strongly tied to project management, strongly tied to enabling project managers, and we as a chapter will be the same, but we also want to not alienate people that might not understand project management and might not understand that what they're doing as a change maker is actually informal project management. So next, let's move on to our mission. Our mission is to provide an environment for change makers too, and you can see the 5 points there. We still are strong advocates of professional growth. We want to advance PMI objectives, so maintaining strong alignment with PMI. We definitely want to engage community and do that in a way where we are helping in social good initiatives. We want to continue to offer networking for individuals with different project experiences. And then, of course, we want to support Northeast Ohio businesses and their success by helping them, enable them with strong project management principles. And you'll see that reflected as we move into the next slide or two. But that's our updated vision, our updated mission. I'll pause here in case there's any questions. And I'm looking at the chat. I don't see anything in the chat, but if anybody wants to come off mute and say something or throw something in the chat, either one's great. All right, well, let's move on. We do have, as we do every year, have key objectives that we want to focus on as a chapter. I would say that 6 is probably a stretch goal, and I'm not sure that we'll actually hit all 6 objectives this year, but there are a few that we definitely want to make sure we're focusing on. So first off, key objective of governance, professional development, networking, community knowledge, and advocacy. So governance, we want to make sure we're operating as an organization that embraces agility, but also an organization that has standards and key processes or KPIs that we measure to and ensure that we are operating as an organization most efficiently. So there's a strong juxtaposition there in the way that we want to do governance within the chapter. Second, this one, as you've seen every year, always professional development. We want to continue to offer development opportunities that are most beneficial to our members, relevant from a traditional project management standpoint, relevant from an agile standpoint, as well as relevant from informal project management that might reach out to members that didn't think they should be part of a project management community in the past. Third, you heard it earlier, you'll hear it again, networking. We always want to be facilitating opportunities, connect our members with other members, connect our members with our organization, connect our members with PMI, and connect our members with other like-minded organizations. So you'll continue to see us offer a variety of networking opportunities, some like we did at the beginning of this meeting, and then others that are more formal, whether it be a golf outing or a winery outing. I think there's or baseball game, number of different things that we've done in the past. And those are ways where we can build community. Those are ways where we can attract and retain members by having strong networking opportunity, because we continually hear from our members anytime we do a survey that PDU opportunities and networking are the 2 most popular. Fourth, the community. We talked a lot about social good and aligning with PMI's initiatives in that area, but we also want to do that in a way that we're building community within the chapter and within Northeast Ohio. So one of the things we've talked about as far as creating community is there are opportunities where we can bring in charities at the beginning of our events, and they'll have a table there and be able to interact with our members, and so our members would learn a little bit more about that charity, and is there a way for us to give back to help that charity, either doing something for them that evening or maybe establishing a relationship that goes longer term than that. Number 5, knowledge. We want to be the source of project management expertise in Northeast Ohio, whether that be to schools, to businesses, to government, other professional organizations. So I would encourage those who are on the call, if you have any connections. Obviously, many of us work for businesses. Some of us might work for academic institutions or government entities. But if there's opportunities where we can find a way to provide professional expertise to your organization, that's something that we want to look into, and especially enabling you as individuals in that organization to be able to give back to your companies or corporations or organizations that you work with. And lastly is advocacy. We want to be an advocate within businesses for strong project management or agile principles. We've had mixed success in the past of connecting with organizations and being able to have good influence within organizations. And so this is something that I would say it's one of our key objectives, probably one of those that I would consider more of a stretch goal, but something that we feel is important because it can help each of us be more successful in our companies as well. So those are our key objectives that align with the mission and vision. And then, like I said earlier, there's really 3 areas that we really want to focus on for 2023 on the next slide. And those are number 1, we want to market the PMO. Well, before I even dive into those, I think I'd say first that, we've had different focus points for different years. But in 2022 was a challenging year. We thought we would really turn the corner in 2022, but I would say 2022 was a lot more like 2021 than any of us had hoped. I think we're really optimistic and excited that 2023 is really that turning point year for us. We have an excellent foundation to build upon, and we're really looking for 2023 to be the year that we move to the next level. And so to do that, we have 3 key areas that we want to focus on. 1, marketing the PMO brand. We just, our new mission, our new vision is so much broader that we have a whole new target audience for what PMI Northeast Ohio is. There's probably a lot of change makers that we could influence as an organization. So we need to get the word out and market that intensely this year. And we've got an initiative that's kicking off at the board, and we'll need some volunteers in the marketing team and in other areas to help us do that. Second, we want to create community. And I think we talked a little bit about that, but key thing is re-engaging chapter members in building a stronger community, and as well as engaging with those that aren't members to help bring them into the community. And we think we can do this through social good initiatives, like we talked about, engaging with charities, whether it be starting new types of events. Like one of the ideas is, maybe we do a breakfast meeting type thing where, groups get together at a restaurant and talk about a project management topic, or do some sort of, not necessarily service project, but at least some sort of engagement with an organization in that different scenario. So there's different types of things that we might be looking at to do there to build and strengthen the community that is PMI Northeast Ohio. And then lastly, we need to engage young professionals. That is a whole new area that PMI has had a focal point on for a few years. We've done a couple of things there, but I don't think we've really jumped in wholeheartedly in that space. And this year really is the year to try and do that. There's a lot of energy in young professionals. There's a lot of opportunity for them to grow and learn and get positioned to be extremely successful in their careers as a project management professional and or a change maker. And so we want to get engaged with them and help develop them to be the next generation leaders that they will be. So those are our 3 focus areas for this year, and invite you to get involved by helping us on one of our short-term teams to help build these out, or getting engaged maybe in a longer-term volunteer opportunity with the chapter, where there's both available. But that's pretty much what I wanted to go through today to give us just a quick encapsulation of what's going on at the PMI strategy level, and then what we're doing to embrace that at the local level with the chapter. So thanks for your time this evening. And if you do have any questions, throw them in the chat. Email me at president@pmineo.org, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn at Todd R. Jones. So thanks.
Excuse me, Todd, really quickly, just a quick question. Hi,
Sure.
This is Emily Landers. Really quickly, you're talking about how you want 2023 to be like that turning point, and, totally understand the goals and the focus areas, but like, are there certain KPIs or values that you are trying to hit this year, whether that's like number of new members or number of social media posts or like survey feedback? I'm just wondering, like, what are those tangible numbers that you feel we need to achieve?
That's a great question, Emily. It's interesting, and it's a very timely question. The board has had in the past a set of metrics that we look at on a quarterly basis around the chapter. And they hit a couple of things that you talked about on maybe member growth, retention, participation in our events, those sort of things. Some of them are really easy to measure. Some of them are a little harder to measure, a little more nebulous. One of the things that we are looking at is with our new mission and vision that we talked about tonight, how do we measure progress against that? And actually, I have a first draft from our VP of strategy around that, and we're actually going to be getting together probably this Saturday to talk about it, and then that'll be something that we'll bring to the board at our next meeting and align on what those metrics are going to be. So I can't give you exactly what they are now, but it's in the works.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure, thanks for the question, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Ramya, do we have another Mentimeter?
We do have a couple of them. I think Joe is presenting. So, I mean, we talked about the focus areas, and I think this one is just to identify kind of what our top three, how do we prioritize them?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, isn't it violet?
I was wondering how we got like 0.3 of a vote, but I see this is just on a scale of 1 to 10, so it's a percentage. Wow, split pretty darn evenly. Pretty close. The community maintains that slight edge. Good. Thanks for the feedback.
Yep, we can do that. Next question. Go ahead.
This one kind of speaks to that last one of those 6 values, and the last one of advocacy. So how can we be a good advocate to your employer of the work that you do and the membership that you retain in PMI and PMI Northeast Ohio? I hope by promotion you mean promoting PMI, or do you want us to go to your manager and ask him to give you a promotion?
I'd like you to actually ask my manager for a promotion.
Yeah, I meant promoting PMI. Sorry.
Good. No, awesome. Thank you. I assumed that, but I didn't want to go too far out on a limb there. See, Ben wants me to talk to his manager, so send me the contact information, Ben.
Hey Todd, this is Evie. Do we have any data around what we've done in the past, so that maybe we're not repeating what we've done before?
Mm-hmm. In relation to what, Evie, just so I got context around the question.
This particular question.
This one?
Because my thought is you're looking for new ideals, but not knowing what we've done in the past, I'm fearful that you're going to get some of the, we already done that, we've done that.
Nope, that makes sense. I'll give a couple of things that I know we've done, and I'll call on other members of the board that are here tonight to help me out if they can think if there's other things that we've done. But I know that we've had an advisory board that we've tried to kick off in the past with like leaders of project managers and organizations to kind of help do two things. One, help them influence what we do as a chapter to be more beneficial for them, and also have the goal of helping us to better promote project management to those organizations. I think we had some success with that, but maybe limited. I know at one point for volunteers, where we had contact information, we actually did send a letter on behalf of the chapter to leader or managers, thanking them for allowing their employees to volunteer with the chapter. So those are probably the two key things that I recall that we've done in the past in relation to this. Anyone on the board think of anything else that we've done? Help my memory.
Yeah, I think those are the ones that I'm aware of.
Okay. But if anyone
Hey,
has any
this
other,
is Laura. I will add this. You know, one of the things we did when we did our chapter planning in the fall is that we recognized that the last 2 years the world has changed. So what may or may not have worked in the past, it doesn't mean that it won't work now. And we approached our planning that way. So just because we've tried something in the past and maybe it didn't work, doesn't mean we shouldn't try it again, knowing that the world around us has drastically changed.
Mm-hmm. I just thought of one other one too that we can probably add, Evie, to this, to your question, is really the chapter awards program is another opportunity for us to engage with companies, especially around the project of the year award, and even the project manager professional and young professional award, because those are opportunities where companies and key individuals within companies can be recognized, and that can be a definite value within the company to having their project recognized in front of all of Northeastern Ohio. All right, Joe or Rami, are you closing us out? Because I know we're running up against the end of our time contract here.
Yep, I am. So thank you. So thanks everyone for your participation. We did talk about the annual awards Dominic did earlier. So if you were trying to take notes along the way, I will be sending out a link to this recorded video plus the PDF version of this PowerPoint slide so you can have it handy. Hope to send it out this weekend to you. We've already talked about this. Dominic did a great job of giving that. There's the link, and more to come on the annual award. So hopefully you have a project, a person, or a young professional in mind that you can nominate. So here's details again of each of the awards. And again, this will be included in the slide deck you'll receive. We'd like to thank our sponsors. We have chapter sponsors like Apex. Apex has just recently renewed with us. They've been a sponsor for a long time with the chapter. We have event sponsors, Strategic Systems, sponsored our golf outing back in September 2022. They're going to be sponsoring our chapter meeting next month at the Galaxy Restaurant. Baldwin Wallace has been a partner forever with us. They've the May PDD and the November IPM Day. We also have preferred partners. I talked about the top two earlier. So Velociteach and Peak Business offer our chapter members discounts on their programs and their training. And we also have other feature providers. Baldwin Wallace has a professional development program. They're actually revamping, so they're working through that process this year. We hope to have some updates from them later this year. Project Bites, we have a relationship with them, and we can offer, I know we have shared the link to some of their events, and there's a set of videos if you subscribe, that'll give you educational content. And with your PMI membership, there is projectmanagement.com. which all you have to do is log in with your PMI ID and password. And you go to projectmanagement.com. They have webinars, templates, a whole bunch of the things there that are really good to take advantage of. All right, so here's only because you can't get away from ChatGPT. Here's a question for you. We'll go over to Mentimeter. We just want to know if you're worried about your job with this whole ChatGPT thing.
I'm glad that people are recognizing the unique value that we bring that can't be replicated by an Autobot yet.
So I was reading this thing about how they tried to get ChatGPT to answer PMP questions. It didn't do well, so.
It's funny.
So lawyer's exam is a separate, different thing though. I think it passed the lawyer's exam.
Okay.
So does that mean it's harder to get a PMP than it is to get past the bar? Is that what I just heard?
Interesting.
So we have 20 no's, 3 people that are robots, and everyone else don't want to vote or don't want to be caught online with an answer. Thanks you. All right, so we have quite a few events coming up. Tomorrow night, we have a guest speaker from PMI Global. He heads up our Brightline initiative. It's strategic planning and execution. So he's going to present what PMI has to offer there. And he's a good speaker. A few of us that went to the Global Congress back in November were able to see him. So it'll be a good opportunity for those of you to learn about that. That session is only online, and we are going to record it and send out slides. So if you're attending, you will get a copy of those slides. On March 7th, we have a get to know the PMI chapter. We actually do that on the first Tuesday of every month. Jags from our membership team heads that up. So we have our next one March 7th, and we'll have another one in April, May, once a month. So if you're new to the chapter, please attend. If you have a colleague that wants to know more about the chapter, please refer them. We have the emotional intelligence presentation that Andy Macy described. It's in March 14th, and it's in person or on Zoom. And we have our May Professional Development Day, date to be determined. We're finalizing speakers. On that particular day, we'll also give out the awards that we talked about earlier. We've got some other ideas brewing for programs and social events. Events are added frequently, so we want to fill up the entire year with virtual and in-person events and hybrid events. Visit the chapter to learn more and to register. And again, another plug, if you have a topic or a project you want to show off, please contact us. Here are our top 5 volunteer opportunities. It's a pretty standard list. We're always looking for greeters for our meetings, program meeting, team members, membership team members, folks for the operations team, industry liaisons. If your interest doesn't align to one of those 5, just contact us. We'll find you something meaningful to work on. Volunteering has many benefits. You get PDUs, you give back to the PM community, and a good networking opportunity, and you build your skills. So great opportunity for you.
If I can add a plug here, Joe, for membership, please do talk within your organization, new folks, just send them my way if they have questions. If they want to know what happens with membership, what do they gain, what are the benefits, what do they learn, always available, just call me or email me.
Yeah, Jags, would you mind dropping your email in the chat?
Sure.
It's essentially membership@PMINEO.org. But yes, thank you, Jags. Definitely get a hold of Jags. All right, we got another Mentimeter question.
Last one, make it good. Excellent. Super excited to see that reaction. Thank you.
All right, so like I said, I will be sending out the slide deck and the link to the video this weekend. The PDU claim code, if you have a certification, I have to update the talent triangle picture on here too. The that is C048JI7F0O. When I send it to you, I'll use a different font so that the numbers look like numbers and the letters look like letters. So you'll get one PDU for
cut and
tonight.
paste.
Yes. Well, I want to thank everyone for their attendance tonight. If you have any other questions, you can post them in the chat or unmute. But thanks again for supporting the chapter and for your attendance tonight.
Yeah. And thanks to all of our presenters, and thanks to Rami, our host for the evening.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.